The Art of Witty Banter by Patrick King. We have all experienced that sudden, sinking feeling when a conversation hits a dead end. You're standing there, the silence is stretching out like an ocean, and your brain is frantically cycling through topics like a broken search engine. You settle for something safe, something boring, and the spark, that tiny chance at a real human connection, simply flickers out. Most people think being witty is a genetic gift, a lightning bolt that only strikes a lucky few. But Patrick King, in his exploration of social dynamics, suggests something far more exciting. Wit is not a talent, it is a rhythm. It is a way of moving through the world with your eyes wide open and your guard just a little bit lower. Think of a conversation not as a tennis match where you are trying to win points, but as a shared improv set. In a standard, boring exchange, we are obsessed with being right or appropriate. Someone asks what you did this weekend, and you say, "I went to the park." It is factual, it is true. It is also a conversational brick wall. Witty banter, however, relies on the yes and principle. It is about taking the boring brick your partner gave you and drawing a smiley face on it. Instead of just the park, you might say, "I went to the park and realized I am officially in a turf war with a very aggressive squirrel." Now, you've given the other person a hook. You've invited them into a story. This shift requires us to abandon the interview mode. We've all been there. The rapid-fire questioning that feels more like a police interrogation than a hangout. Where are you from? How long have you lived there? Do you like it? To break this cycle, King suggests leaning into the first thought rule. We often have a funny or slightly strange observation in our heads, but we filter it out because we think it's too weird. But weird is where the personality lives. When you share that first, unfiltered thought, you aren't just talking. You're showing someone the map of your mind. You're saying, "This is how I see the world." And that vulnerability is exactly what makes people lean in. But how do you keep the momentum going once you've started? This is where creative listening comes in. Most people listen just enough to know when it is their turn to speak. A witty person listens for the subtext. They look for the emotion or the tiny detail hidden in a sentence. If someone mentions they hate Mondays, don't ask why. Instead, lean into the drama. Which specific hour of Monday is the villain of your story? This transforms a complaint into a narrative. You are playing with the reality they presented to you. This kind of interaction creates a private universe, a feeling that for these 5 minutes, you and this other person are the only ones who understand this specific silly language. One of the most powerful tools in this kit is the callback. It's a classic comedic device, but in real life, it's a superpower. It's the act of remembering a small, seemingly insignificant detail from earlier in the conversation and bringing it back later as a joke or a reference. It signals to the other person that you weren't just hearing them, you were truly with them. It builds a bridge of intimacy in record time. It says, "I value what you said enough to keep it in my head." Of course, there is the fear of the flop. What if you try to be witty and it just fails? The secret of the most charismatic people isn't that they never fail. It's that they don't care when they do. They use meta-commentary. If a joke lands poorly, they point it out. Well, that sounded much funnier in my head 5 seconds ago. By narrating your own failure, you take the power away from the awkwardness. You show that your confidence is built on a foundation of self-acceptance, not social perfection. You become the person who's comfortable in their own skin, and that is the most magnetic quality a human being can possess. We often treat social interactions as high-stakes performances where one wrong move ends the show. But King's philosophy invites us to see it as a playground. Every person you meet is a new game, a new chance to experiment with perspective. Banter is the tool that breaks down the professional, polite masks we wear and allows us to see the messy, hilarious, and brilliant person underneath. It is about being relentlessly present. It is about deciding that the person in front of you is more interesting than the phone in your pocket or the grocery list in your head. As you move through your next social encounter, try to find the slant. Don't look for the most logical thing to say. Look for the most playful one. Exaggerate a little. Misinterpret something on purpose for a laugh. Give a compliment. that is so specific it becomes a story. When you stop trying to be the smartest person in the room, you finally have the space to be the most engaging one. You realize that wit isn't about having a sharp tongue, it's about having a warm heart and a curious mind. We spend so much of our lives following the script, doing the expected thing, saying the polite thing, staying within the lines. But the moments we cherish, the people we remember, and the stories we tell are always about the times the script was thrown away. Banter is your permission slip to go off script. It is a reminder that even in a world of schedules and screens, we can still find a spark of magic in a simple conversation. The next time you feel that silence approaching, don't fear it. See it as a blank canvas. You have the tools, you have the rhythm, and you have the yes and. All you need to do is take the first step, stop playing it safe, and start playing for real. And that the world is waiting for you to say something interesting. Not something perfect, not something profound, just something you. Because in the end, the art of wit isn't about being a character. It's about finally letting your character out to play. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, tap the bell, and join the Booksbox family as we explore powerful ideas, one book at a time. Catch even more great ideas on our podcast. The link's in the description. Until next time, keep reading and growing.